Welcome to another book talk with Tracy. Today I would like to read chapter 1 from my book Aliens Among Us. It is a YA Sci-fi novel, a coming of age, I suppose you could say. Today that's what I want to do is read from chapter 1. There is something unsettling about the new neighbors. That's the best way to describe it. Unsettling. The feeling started right when the moving van arrived. That was exactly 2 days ago when the big box van rolled up in front of the house across the street. The one that had been vacant for over a year, which is no big deal in a town like ours. Mining towns are like that. Boom and bust. It's just part of life. Strange furniture came out. Really strange furniture. Not that I was staring, but hey, there's not much to do in Mineral Gorge. The furniture was modern, I guess, all chrome and glass and weird angles, but one piece in particular really got my attention. It looked like a glassed-in shower, tubular in shape with flashing lights running up and down one side, right out of a sci-fi movie. It reminded me of a torture chamber from one of those old black and white horror films, the kind that aren't actually scary but still make you jump. That was day 1. I didn't get a glimpse of the actual occupants until the next day. In fact, I probably wouldn't have cared much, except that's pretty hard to do now that I've seen one of them with my own eyes. Never mind. I'm just being stupid. My name is Frances. Frances Greenwater. I've tried to convince my mom to call me Frank, but she insists on Frances. If I'd wanted to give you a nickname, I would have called you that, she always says. I'm named for her dead brother, and he went by his given name, so there's no arguing. It's like the name is sacred or something, which makes sense in a way since he was her only sibling. He died young, when my mom was just a teenager, so I've resigned myself to being Frances and don't even flinch anymore when someone implies that it's a girl's name. I open my front door and hop-skip down the cement steps, sheltered as they are under the eaves. As soon as I come out from under the shade, the afternoon heat hits me like a furnace blast. The weather in Mineral Gorge is hot and dry in the summer, but really cools off in the evenings because we're in the mountains. Summer vacation is my favorite time of year, not because of the weather, because it's actually too hot for my liking, but because there's no school. I mean, who doesn't love not going to school? Okay, I admit that I'm actually bored right now, and in some strange way I'm looking forward to heading back in a couple of weeks. Just to reconnect with some of my friends, mind you, no other reason. I'm heading to the skate park to meet up with my friend Stu. We've been friends since grade 2, when my mom and I moved to MG. That's what I call Mineral Gorge for short. It's a really small town, so now that we're in high school, we have to take the bus to Copper Quarry, which is the next biggest town about 15 minutes away. When I was in elementary school, I had a larger pool of local friends to choose from, but lots of them have come and gone. Stu and I are still here in MG, so we're good buddies by default. It's like that when you live in a place like Mineral Gorge. It's less about finding friends who have similar interests and more about settling for the constants in your life. I know that sounds terrible. It's not that I don't like Stu, but I find him annoying at times. He talks too much and he's loud, asks too many questions. It's like he doesn't know there's this thing called boundaries. Sometimes I like to be alone, to think about stuff. Let my mind take me places. Stu just wants to hang out all the time. It's like he can't stand to be alone with himself, so he's constantly messaging me or wanting to hang out. I know if I don't meet him at the skateboard park this afternoon, he'll come over instead, and then I'll have trouble getting rid of him. He'll stay, and then my mom will invite him for supper, and I won't have any time to myself. Not that I have anything better to do. I throw down my skateboard, give it a push forward with one foot, and hop on, gaining momentum down the driveway. That's when I see someone coming out of the neighbor's house across the street. I make an inelegant dismount. My balance is off. I never lose my balance. It's her. The same girl I saw yesterday. She has a large tabby cat in her arms, which she sets on the step before sitting down beside it. I realize I'm staring and manage to roll my tongue back into my head. She stares back at me and I nod in response. Before I lose my nerve, I hop back on the board and scoot across the street, coasting to a stop halfway up her driveway. I flip my skateboard into my waiting hand, a trick I've been practicing hard to perfect, and tuck it under my arm with as much bravado as possible. Now to think of something to say. Hi, you're new here. Duh, that was obvious. I feel the blood creeping up my neck. What a moron. So much for first impressions. She appears to be about my age, 16, and she's hot. Nothing short of stunning, which sounds super lame now that I've said it. It isn't her looks exactly. It's this invisible aura that envelops her. I know it sounds stupid to put it that way, but I don't know how else to say it. The girl nods. Yes, my family just moved in. Yeah, I saw the moving van. Not too many new people in Mineral Gorge these days. Where are you from? She shrugs noncommittally. Not from anywhere near here. I live across the street in the greenhouse. I point just in case, although she obviously knows that already. Hopefully she didn't see the near fumble on my skateboard. I know. Did I say stunning? Revise that. She's out of this world. Straight, jet black hair frames smooth, almost transparent skin. Her eyes are electric green. They're exotic eyes, turned up slightly at the corners and fringed with thick, dark lashes. Her slim body is encased in a fitted jumpsuit of sorts. Am I staring again? I blink and clear my throat. My name is Frances. Frances, she repeats, testing the sound, and cocks her head to one side. Greenwater, Frances Greenwater. I focus on my toes and try to laugh like I don't mind the name in the least. Thanks to my Uncle Francis, I'm stuck with it. Explaining, always explaining. What's your name? I peek up at her. She's totally unruffled. Sola. She strokes the tabby and blinks once. That's a nice name. I shove my free hand into my jeans pocket. Thank you. The front door opens and another teenager emerges. A male with dark skin. He directs a pointed stare right in my direction. Luna, this is our neighbor, Sola says. His name is Francis. She turns back to me. This is my brother, Luna. I flash the newcomer a quick nod and acknowledgement. Luna nods back. He is very different from his sister. His skin is the color of dark chocolate. His eyes a golden amber with the same exotic slant as his sister's. The straight orange hair doesn't faze me. People try to make a statement with their hair all the time. But his eyes, they're animal eyes. A shiver runs down my spine and I pull my gaze away. Nice to meet you. What made you move to Mineral Gorge? Your parents work at the mine? A look passes between the siblings. They're scientists, doing research in the area, Sola says. I nod. For the mine, I take it? Another almost indetectable exchange happens between them. I'm not sure it's our place to say, Sola responds. Okay. Weirdly secretive, but the fact that they're scientists explains the portal contraption I saw coming out of the moving van. I laugh, the sound nervous in my own ears. Not some kind of conspiracy, I hope. Sola just blinks. Conspiracy? Never mind, just kidding. What's with the suits? I gesture at the form-fitting lycra jumpsuits they're both wearing. Suits? Sola glances down at her attire. Never mind. I drop my board to the cement and absently roll it under one foot. I am reluctant to say goodbye, but afraid to stay for some reason too. Besides, Stu will be waiting. You play basketball? Luna and Sola exchange another glance. Maybe, Sola finally replies. Good, we can always use a few imports. What grade are you in? We're juniors, Sola says, her tone matter of fact. She seems to do all the talking. Grade 11? Yes. Me too, both of you? I look directly at Luna, hoping he'll speak for himself, although it shouldn't matter. We're twins, Sola says. Oh! Confusion clouds my mind for a second, but I nod. I get it, like a blended family. No, we're biological twins, Luna corrects. I'm not sure if I'm more surprised by hearing his voice or the insistence that they're biological twins. Sola flashes her brother a warning look as she stands up. The cat jumps from her lap with a meow. We better get back to work, she says. We have lots of unpacking to do. Nice to meet you. You too. Sola has already turned her back and is opening the front door. I can show you around sometime, I interject before she disappears inside. All the hangouts? The cat scoots inside the house, brushing past her legs. Thanks. Sola nods and enters the house. Luna stays silent but makes eye contact before following his sister inside. I stand for a minute, unsure what to do next. Of course, Stu is waiting, so I hop on my board and coast down the sidewalk a ways. Then it hits me like a slap in the face. I flip the board into my hands and turn to take another look at the stranger's front door. No wonder their eyes seemed so exotic. Their pupils are elongated slits, just like those of their cat. Well, that's chapter 1. Kind of an introduction to the main characters. Of course, there's a whole lot more action and adventure to come as Frances discovers the truth about the new neighbors. Aliens Among Us. It's a science fiction, kind of a youth. The main character is a teenager, but I think it's really suitable for anybody, especially if you like that genre. You can check it out. It's available everywhere. Of course, my website is probably the best way to see this and all of my book options. That is tracykraus.com, TracyKraus. I love it when people visit, leave comments, leave reviews, whatever you may want to do. So that's it for Book Talk with Tracy for today. And I hope to see you again next time when we talk about books, talk about the writing process, talk about inspiration, talk about faith. There's just a lot of things to talk about. So thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.